Good morning, everyone. It's Doug from Vermont Hoyas, and I'm here to visit with you and Hoya stenaokei. Hoya stenaokei was named after Stenaokei Svensson, whose children sponsored Natalie Simonson's early work in Papua New Guinea. It was first discovered in 2011, and it was only found in one locality, one specimen, high up in a tree where somebody had to shimmy up to get the plant material. And this Hoya very well may be extinct in nature now, because it was visited again, and this species could never be located again. So it's a very weird feeling to think that this little guy here in Vermont has got something in his grow tent that is flowering that no longer exists in nature. I also don't think too many people have flowered this yet in North America, so I'm very happy to be able to bring this to you. It is really, really cool. It's in the Hoya McGillray complex, but yet it's completely different. Let's look at some of those differences and look at the flower. Look how stunning that is. Now, one of the biggest differences between it and McGillray and Onychoides and Archibaldiana is for one thing, the corolla is pubescent. I don't know, it will probably show up in the pictures I'm going to take of this after, but it's all fuzzy inside on the corolla, and the corona is completely different shaped than any other Hoya in that McGillray complex. And I have one of those in another tent that I will show you, and you'll see the huge difference. But look how it's a perfect pentagon, and on the rest of the McGillray complex it looks more like a star. So very, very cool. You can see the leaves are highly pubescent. Now, on the paper written on this, it says the older leaves turn glabrous, but this plant now, I did this in about 20 months from cutting. I got this from Indonesia, but these leaves on this plant are all completely still pubescent, and there isn't one of them that has turned glabrous. So it's so unique. It smells just like the Hoyas and the other Hoyas in McGillray complex, like gardenias. Just absolutely stunning. These just popped last night. I'm going to be bringing this plant back in another segment of this video when all of them have opened, and I have something else in another tent that I want to show along with it, and I'll go over there in that tent and in just a second. But see if I can bring these up there. Just beautiful. Another thing I noticed in the other Hoyas in the McGillray complex, they don't drip nectar, but unfortunately this is a nectar dripper. I've tried to wipe it up a little bit, but you can see some of the drops on the point of the corolla down here. So that's a slight irritation, but anyway, it's pretty beautiful. We won't make a big deal out of the nectar. See, while I'm in here, I might as well just show you, oddly enough, that this plant, stenaokei, sten, is next to another plant that's sten, stenophylla. I just thought I would show you that. You can see it's just an unbelievable shrub. These plants are good buddies. They seem to like hanging out together. So, companion planting. Put your stenophylla next to your stenaokei. They'll be very happy, and you'll flower your stenaokei. So, very cool. Is there anything else in here? Oh, this is another one I recently picked up. Desipuli. You can see that is pretty darn unique with its cage-like flowers. Just crazy. It develops a peduncle at every single leaf node. But it's a real curiosity, and another unique Hoya. So I just had to show you that. Well, as long as I'm here, and let's see, the tents, Oblonga caudifolia has got like 7 open peduncles of flowers on it. That's pretty much all I can smell in here. So let's take a look at Hoya species frogfoot. You can see this is the healthiest, biggest specimen I've ever had. I have 3 open peduncles of flowers on platycollis. So things are doing pretty well in the tents at the moment. Let's pop into another tent here. The thing I really want to show you is this other plant. When I got these plants from Indonesia, I had tons of bits and pieces in there from the vendor. And this one was also labeled as stenaokei. And you can see that it has 2 buds. This plant, however, the leaves are glabrous. Even when they're just coming out, they're not pubescent. So I know the vendor, and I've seen online that there's been a dark version of stenaokei and a light version of stenaokei, which I don't really know if that's the case, because if only one specimen was ever located, they should both be colored the same. But we will see when these 2 buds open if it is darker than on that stenaokei. Maybe this is yet another species, I don't know. But hopefully when I come back with the last segment of this in a few days, when these have opened, we can compare the 2 and see what they look like. You can also see Versteegii over here. It's just literally covered with flowers. The last time this happened, sadly, I had to cut all the flowers off just to save myself the mess of cleaning it up. But this time I'm going to leave the flowers on there. So very cool. Oh, so let's take a look at this. This is Kamuki, which is a cross between McGillivray and Archibaldina. But you can see, look at the corona. That's your typical McGillivray complex corona right there. That's what they look like. So you can see how unbelievably different and unique the corona is on stenaokei. So huge difference. Just very, very cool that we have another plant in the McGillivray group. One of my favorites. One of the Hoyas that got me hooked on the hobby, McGillivray. So I've always loved every plant in that group. Well, I think that's all I've got to say for right now. We'll just spin around here. You can see this Imperialis is covered with buds too. I've got 2 peduncles up here full of buds, and there's another one on the back side. I don't know if you can see. So that thing is budding up. So I just thought I'd give you a quick tour of the tents at the same time. But I will be back with stenaokei in part 2 in a few days. Very excited. The coolest Hoya that I flowered in quite a while. So we'll be back soon. Good morning, I'm back again, and all of the flowers have opened on Hoya stenaokei. Let's take a close look. It's absolutely stunningly beautiful. The other flowers, the other 2 buds on the other glabrous version of stenaokei have yet to open, so I will have to come back yet with the 3rd segment. But I wanted to bring this to you while this was at its absolute peak. Just a stunning flower. And I also neglected to say how I grew this. It's grown in 100% coconut husk with large perlite mixed in, a small amount of large perlite. You can see that in there. I can pick that whole plant right out of the cash pot. You can see all of the roots growing out of the pot. Probably could use a repot, but I don't think I'll ever repot this. There's a limit to how big you can get your plants. Put that back in there. I hold the trellis in there by wiring it to the pot. You can see right here, stainless steel wire. Works great. Always have your trellis connected to your pot. Makes life far easier. Okay, I think I've shown you Hoya stenaokei, or stenaokei. I'm unsure how that's pronounced for sure. We'll keep calling it stenaokei. So I will be back. Hopefully the flowers will still be open on this when the other two buds open on the glabrous version of stenaokei that I got in the same order from the same Indonesian vendor. Okay, I'll be back soon. Good morning, everyone. It's Doug again, and I'm back with the final segment of my Hoya stenaokei video. It took a whole week, but I finally got the dark version to open its flowers. I'm really happy that that happened before the flowers fell off on the regular stenaokei, but they're still holding pretty strong at 7 days. But we're going to take a look at it. I had to flip to vertical because it's the only way you can really appreciate these Hoyas when it's filmed on a phone. Anyway, I don't have the equipment to go the other way, but you can see that. First of all, let's take a look at the regular stenaokei first. These lovely pubescent leaves, all of them are pubescent, front and back. And now let's take a look at the dark version of stenaokei. You can see totally glabrous. Right when these leaves first come out, totally glabrous. And let's take a look at the flowers. That's what everyone's been wanting to see. They're huge. They're much bigger than on the regular stenaokei, but that could be because there's only 2 of them, so they could put all their strength into getting big. But these are about 3 inches across, and the other ones on the regular stenaokei are probably a little over 2 inches across. So this is considerably larger. Look at how stunningly beautiful those are, though. Incredible. I can't believe I got lucky enough to get both versions, the dark and the light. The plant, I like the plant better on the regular version because of the unusual pubescent leaves, and it just seems to be a more attractive plant. But I may like these flowers just a touch better on the dark version. But it's all personal preference. They're both absolutely lovely. Just on top of the world that I had the opportunity to flower both of these. And I would still like to know the answer to the question, why is there 2 different clones? At some point, they must have found another population of this, because the paper I read on this by Natalie said that they only found it in 1 tree, and then they went back later and were unable to find it. So there must be something that happened after that paper was written. They must have found another population for this dark one to show up. Just lovely. Growing them the same way, coconut husk. So that's about all I've got to say on Hoya stenaokei. I thank you for taking the time and watching this little video, and I'll be back really soon with more great Hoyas and Hoya growing tips. Thanks again.